here with us, and we still got how can I say battery power and stuff. It's a good conversation and it's a cultural conversation. Let's keep our questions to cultural conversation. Thank you, everybody. So this sorry about that. So this evening we have Chief Dabe and his daughter Appolia Dabe, who's going to give us a bit more insights on the Naro culture and practically a bit of the way of their life. So let's cut the chase. Thank you to everybody who's in already. This will be recorded and put online as well. So for tonight, in this session, we're going to talk about some cultural and traditional values of the Naro, and also practically who are they? What do they sound like? So Nan Chief, Nan Tapolia.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Appolia Dabe. Uba is my Naro name, and we are tonight with my dad, Chief Jacob Dabe, and his Naro name is Moekau. He will introduce himself.
Chief Dabe.
Good evening, my name is Chief Jacob Dabe. We say Aifa in Naro. It is Aifa in Naro. And as I already mentioned, his Naro name is Moekau.
Well, good evening to you all, and thank you for this evening. And yeah, so Appolia, could you please ask your father to tell us more about the Naro language and the culture it cradles, the culture that grew, that raised it. Who are these people?
Naro isa mtakpam isa houses. Mtasa tam sa kapita.
Naro kusa kasi taris kusi kasi kansa. Ito kuma yan ko kusin ko yan kan ko kamit sa putri. Yan ako kusin ko yan naman man ko na ko kakakas narsa ko. Amakati sa kami.
Naro is a very unique, one of the unique San languages we have, and within Naro, we also have different clans with their different dialects, and some Naro speak high tune, and others speak deep. That's how unique Naro is. Dito, muna like di kana kwen Naro sa mgukukuyin tagas Naro sa mgukukuyin singkas tagasa mgukuyin sa dito haba kumkasa kuy hata ni tayo.
Sata khana kuma ina kuma sata kuma amagaris Naro sa ko itini ni han men narigatin sakuda sakudina mana kamus Naro sa ko.
Okay, I just wanted my dad to clarify like how Naro is spoken here in our area, and the Naro we speak here in Kaya, Namibia. Yeah, we speak Naro of Kaya, Namibia, but then you also have Naro speaking in Botswana, in Botswana.
Thank you. It's very interesting. So as you can see, it's quite an interesting topic. So Appolia, can your dad describe some important, how can I say, cultural practices of the Naro?
Naro, Juan Gabrita, Naro Juan Gabrita, Katoskum, the Kai, Klagwakus, when in Norway,
Naro aska ikuanka kasku betos lagi itasku na kuani akasin an kurang sa kay kosko ni nakasku no hoy aga ikuanan ko tama itas ka machesa ni aku alip kai aku nang pas aku nang terus nang aku masih
One of the core values that differs Naro from others, particularly they also do this, but then what differs Naro is when a girl turns into a womanhood, she is separated from the family, rest of the people, and she's put in another room separately where elders where she teach how to behave as a woman. Yeah, basically teach how to behave as a woman.
You know, this is very interesting. So, what is your culture? What is your culture brought to other people? What is the Naro culture given to other people? We all give, our cultures give each other things, you know, stories, language. We borrow each other's language. We learn each other's ways of life. So, what is the Naro? What does your father feel we've taught people?
Okay, kada Naruta. Kuna kada ko wat ka dusa tatlan. Dusa dat kada Naruta kuna mata kami kan kada ko wat ka so kan kada ko kwan ans.
sata kukorka kon masan ka tangkan uji kita kumem kum to ku kai kori ji hibi imba iko no jinna ji kori ji no ko ata kuma kanya kun ku papa kasi ana hakukuwa koreani ku sata ku ri
Yeah, other people what Naro told other people or what other people or tribes get from Naro is we the Naro traded with ostrich eggshells. What do you call that?
Eggshells.
Eggshells. Yeah. Naro mostly make beads and stuff from ostrich eggshells. So others will come and get it from Naro. They learn actually that from Naro.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Chief Dabe, Appolia, can your dad tell me, like, you know, we all have figures in our life, icons in our life. Does the Naro have icons or leaders that's like, you know, widely respected in the past? Who are these heroes of the Naro?
Kada Naro ka tinsa kana kada Naro ka dad at pili wa kaya ka kan ako se ang ihay para mayo kaya ko sa kapwa ya.
kata kayan kuna ta wa hata ka kuma han diar ko huji waji kuru kumsu bertu han ko waka dika ha ko
Yeah, Naro used to have elders and a leader, and through these elders, like everything was being done through the elders. Say if you or if there's a conflict, it was brought to elders. Elders were like.
Yeah. So who is one of those elders that he can mention?
Okay, and also one thing that a leader.
Yeah.
We call it an Echa. So the Echa was also one of these elders. Yeah. Doesn't matter he was young. He was.
Okay, who can you recall? Who can you recall? Which is like maybe his family members.
Mas
as wis ko ham ko ga kum se to ko ga some has to ka ta hata ma ka ifano an kan ais ko ko to kita kan ko nami biam ko hayam ko 혹시 뭐 맞다 지난 그렇게 그
our leader here, the elders, one of the elders, which was also a leader that was well respected and well known in the Naro here in Haya was Tosin. His name was Tosin. One man was his other name. So he was the last elder or the leader the Naro had here in Antia.
Okay, how can your father tell me what's about? Well, give us some explanation on some ways of Naro leadership. What makes Naro leadership different to other leaderships?
Naro if I just sit there, oh, Naro Craige answer andian I Craige so kago Naro Craige kada zambatanga kuzokutanga tanga kakus.
Henle Naruto kusa ita ko tangkap si tama amar tangkap si ipona sa ni una si wen kun tu ti ko si na avec ai wato ku to ko nas kun ka ko kana ko te ko akati ka to sa ko na ka mo ka si la ipana si baro ka ka te mo tar ka
What make Naro unique, right? What's your question was? A Naro leader was always honest with his people, and he was a unifier. He always brings his people. He makes sure that his people are always together. He was the unifier, the peacekeeper, and a very honest man that loves his people. So
kadang home ikawe ko kaya ko si ho ko to ko tu ko ikaw kay ka tu sa ko mi tam ka ko man as was step to ase ban em ko kaya si ho nang ham china kadang ko bandar china kan anan ka ay ko sa pusti se
and also a leader or elders. A leader also used to when he hunts, they also used to go out and hunt leaders. It was not only young men that were doing this hunting, also leaders were doing hunting. So once he hunts a eland or a hemsbrook, so because especially a hemsbrook that was Naro's right, you will come and share with all of them.
The whole village.
The whole village, yeah.
So, could your father tell me, like, you know, how has the Naro's relationship with nature influenced your way of life?
Okay. Explain it.
How is the life of the Naro, the bush life, the traditional life, how did it influence our lives today?
Ada ko aga ako nung ko ba untaya ko unga kudamda ba ko karami yo
na se pada ko ko itu ko ko sa pada ko ko ay tong ko sa ta china ka ko sa uwa sa ta di to si ta ka ku hi for example ta alit ko kai ko na ko ka na ta si ta di ji ta ka ku to china ka
we in the nature of the Naro used to be free and they were free to do everything that they were supposed to do. They were free at least to practice their culture, speak their language widely, and practice their traditions. But now we are limited. Naro is limited. So yeah.
Akat ko si no ko ta niya tamara ni si ti ta ko sa ta alit ko in konto ta ko sa kan ko sa ta ko ka ko.
And because of this limitation, we are also losing our language because we always we always with other people, you know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll go over to some questions from the public. Is there anybody who would like to ask a question?
There's several in the chat.
Robin
can read them.
Yeah.
Hi everyone. So I saw one of the questions asked, is the sun matriarchal?
As the sun, is the sun led by male or female?
Inakuqeda reader.
Dinaro.
Inakuqeda reader, check reader. Guys, inakuqeda reader. It is patriarchal.
Dinaro.
Yeah.
Dinaro is patriarchal.
We are led
Okay. Okay, awesome.
Yeah. Next
I
question.
see another question that asked, is the Naro similar to that of Kuku Goab in terms of the languages?
Sita diskusa like se hasti hua escutou se ku escutou tin u kata kai se isku kasame kamaka ejuku jongo si.
Naro is a very unique language. But yeah, there are words that we shared with Nama Tamar is equivalent. Yeah, but
Could you please
its
repeat what it's
origins-
called? What is the language called? Koi.
Naro. Our language.
Yes, no.
Our language is Naro, and it sounds similar like the language spoken by Nama and Tamara. I'm not sure it's equivalent, but it is similar. Yes. But we believe the Naro believe that we are the first speakers of this language, Naro.
Kata ka narukusa ratwa namana turu usata turu usa disa harasa pandan norobapo kwesa timi akwe batimi akwe timi damaran chirako kata ka kumi.
Okay, like for instance, Naro also says kwe. Nama and Tamara also says kwe. We also say the Naro also says kwe. He also says kwe. So these are the words that makes us similar.
Kwe.
Kwe means run. So all of us, even the Tamara and the Nama say kwe. Naro also say kwe, which is run.
Any other further questions?
Yes, we have another question, and Bianca asked, what is the Naro's vision and hope for their community?
Kita koto ko kamasin ko wata ga ko asita din hom sama kata ko hin kam sita din ko ren sita din tuan ko yan ko ko ta an ko to ko kasi an to kasi kum ko dum ka hat asia to ti ko sa ko to
Now we to be free like they used to be. Speak their language freely, live like any other son in any other people in Namibia freely. Be independent, be recognized like any other tribe in Namibia.
Thank you very much. Thank you. That was quite a beautiful answer. Any other questions?
Yes, we do have two more questions. Sonia asked, how could we connect with one another across cultures? Where do we start? And this is her question to the chief.
Sonia's asking, how do we connect with each other across cultures? Where do we start by beginning that dialogue, that communication?
Because ta
sata o hasto
kada weda
kata meta ngata ko ko ka ngata ko kata ali ko kuya ali bago
by communicating like if we are doing, that's how we will be able to learn to know each other's language and cultures and so forth.
A very up close and personal encounters, us coming to each other and meeting each other.
Yeah.
That's what you said.
Yeah.
Thank you. And another question.
Yes, Nicola said, hello from Baltimore. My question is, what are some of the natural medicines and what does the main diet look like for the Naro?
Excuse me, I didn't get the last part. The main
Diet.
Wow.
Food source or foraging source or
Kada dito ni kapo ang is. So
Tuani,
Mm.
ini cita tuani, nah, kawakai in tuan mesti aku kerja si, entah kami kena aku tunggu tu mama hi, kau tak cita tua aku bisa aku cek.
We have variety of medicine that treat variety of problems, sicknesses, illnesses, and we still use some that we still use up to this day. Ayan kabritaw, tuan ni so yi imka. Ena katawi kabritaw niya. Mga bata ko gusto ko.
Apa tak aku cek aku.
For example, flu, we have a medicine called tea. I don't know the English name.
Em kayan kapi kuhaba.
And we also have kuha, that's for flu, and also tori, that's for flu, and koba. And then we have for diarrhea and tummy trouble. The one we call iba hendak apa? Sehingga khusus for headache, we have a medicine called tia. Yeah, you sniff it and then you see that's where the name actually tia comes from. You sneeze.
And the food.
And ukwan, ukwan na takong biscuit ubuwa. Naro diet, well, we knew kind of food that are traditional to us, but because of not being free and because of not having land where we can go and forage, we only eat what we buy from shops. But we know, and yeah, we know variety of fruits from the bush, like wild carrots, wild cucumber, a lot wild melon, berries, yeah, a lot.
What is your father's favorite?
I love that's naman. I love all the food.
All the
I love,
food.
yeah, all the food. Yeah, in the Muslim course, when my mom was still alive, I used to wild food, wild foraging food, and I love foraging food. But now there's no way that I can go collect.
Any more questions?
Yes, we do have more questions. Another question to Chief Dabe is, what values from the Naro would he like to see passed down to the younger generation, the kids of today, even those who live in big cities?
So, naga huga, ituan yung kumenta kami, ako kaya kuintuan yung ka, sa hataka. What I really love from my heart and wish that in heaven is to have land and to show our kids, like our grandkids and the kids that being born now, but this is the food we used to eat. This land was a medicinal plant and in this way and this way, but now we don't have any land, and how are we? It's very difficult for us to house this. knowledge to our grandchildren and great-grandchildren. The knowledge of food and medicine, and also the language.
Yeah.
And also the language. Knowledge of language and food and medicine is what I will really love to be passed to the next generation.
Any more questions?
Wow, that's so powerful. Yes. The next question is, what is the biggest difference between the life that the chief knew when he was young compared to his life that experienced now?
My younger days was much more better than compared to these days. Because when I was a young, like I was almost free, like free to go hunt, free to go collect food from the wild. But now it tends to be that I must buy everything from the shop, and this life is really too expensive for me. Even when I'm sick or when you are sick, when one of us is sick, we used to go out to the field and go get medicine. But now we have to go to the hospital and still pay. So everything is pay money. So I don't. Come on, my. And even just to go in, when you are sick, to go and get medicine from the field, you have to have a permission. It really isn't sitting well with me.
Any more questions?
Yes, Joe asked, as the mother who birthed us into this time, how do we best honor you in our stepping forward together?
Could you please read that again?
So Joe asked, as the mother who birthed us into this time, how do we best honor you in our stepping forward together? I think he might be referring to the mother as the Naro, the son.
First people.
Yes.
Well, what he's asking is, as a people that has been said that we, son is the oldest, and we've given birth to the nations. And what's the last part?
Yes. How do we best honor you in our stepping forward together?
What would be the example of the son, the message from a Naro San person for us to better our lives or our existence?
To the world.
Yeah.
Okay. Kadang kukuha ka ay si ang sa kapag sa dulu iba daga dulu si. Kadang kukuha kadang naruda o kadang yung abot na da pweda ina ko na hanana tu sa naga kadang pa kakasi. Munta naga kumata, tu ko naga buwa kumata.
Yeah. Yang pasti sih entah kita tahu kuma kata perai main mau perai main naga kai main naga enkon hinta ma kon kuru dan an kuna asin kon cina kuru da dan bo sa ngasata kesi masih.
Munta naga kumata, tu ko po naga kumata, tu sa naga kada ko pat kakasi, tu sa naga kada ko hati.
Sata ko kuan ke pesi da ko kuan bo aga. Jadi sata di jiku kuan ka bo tani situ ku wacina ka aga kumata. Kau ka tiaka an tama kata ka tama sino tuai aku algo ku kuan ku tuai. Siapa buat ka tuai.
It is a tricky question and a very tricky answer to it. I can maybe try to explain it. Us, the first peoples, one of the first peoples, the Naro. The world would have better learned from us if we were known to the world, but we are limited. We hardly practice our cultures, our traditions, speak our language. We are so limited that the world don't know us. If only we were free to the world, they will have learned better from us. But we wish and hope that we will be known and the world will learn from us what type of people we are, the language we speak, and everything, our values. Yes, a lot.
Masalah buku sama kau masalah ba asing kau siapa ni kuma masalah buku yang pasti kama kuji siapa tak tu kau ni awak weda tu mata tu.
For instance, if innocent person is being assisted with, for example, a vehicle or a cattle, and him or the son group, the stress it is say the son, you know, but they don't know about the other son people like the Naro people, how they are, and yeah, they are values.
The value life.
Yeah.
Is there any more questions?
Wow. Yes, there are. There are a lot of questions asking about Naro spirituality and asking if there are any sacred spaces that were normally used for ceremonies and rituals. And everyone would just like to know more about Naro spirituality.
Thank you very much for that question. Unfortunately, there are certain boundaries to our interviews and our talks, and some things are better left unknown due to cultural, intellectual property, as well as the value of their culture. You know, there's things we can speak about, and there's things we can't speak about. You know, there's people around in the world that, how can I say, uses information like that for their own benefit. And it's also something very sacred to the Naro, as well as something that cradles a large part of who they are and their culture. So topics like that would be on another day, and yeah, with more elders involved to actually have on that view. So thank you for that question, but unfortunately we cannot answer you on that. Next question.
We completely understand. There is another question who would love to hear about as a Naro woman, what is your role in the clan? And yes, they did mention ceremonies, but we won't touch on that. But as a Naro woman, what is your role in the clan?
Yeah, as a Naro woman and as I have a chief daughter, I have variety of responsibilities and roles, a lot, and I can only mention one, which is to stand by my father, to stand by my father's side and help him with everything, and which is equally to look after the clan, to look after our people. We are servants of our people. I hope I've answered your question.
Yes, you have.
Next question.
Those are all of the questions that we have in the chat at the moment.
Okay, so let's go further with more of what I would like to know. So I see your father playing guitar. How long has your father been playing guitar?
Dapat
Guitar ba?
pakai cerita suku dia
Harus kuat,
kalau setengah sampai
harus kuat.
kalau anda ke sekolah pokok kalau kami masih masuk kalau kami pokok kami ke kasih kuat tuh juga kalau tidak pokok kalau itu pokok kalau 72 ikut kok kalau
It has been a while, quite a while now that I'm playing the guitar. Maybe I can say from 1972. But even when we were young, we used to make guitar out of chains and put around some thread.
5 liter toba, ulito ko.
For example, a 5 liter,
First ko to.
5 liter can drum and with the strings. That's how we used to make guitars. So I've been playing the guitar for a while.
Yeah, I know. I've been watching him playing. It's nice to hear him now and then on the nights. So, Chief, could you ask your father about, hunting? Does he miss hunting?
Kasi ko kung paen yan. Kasi ko plus ko. Kasi ko plus ko sunod si ko. Jetuan na kan sadra cheka pae cha si. Pae ko sunod cheka tiya pae. Ka gwa ka tutwa. Si kuan tung.
I really was hunting.
Masika tinglo polisa ko ako uji to ko pae ko.
I really was hunting. Even in those days, when I was a little bit younger and I was in information farms, I always used to hunt. We used to hunt. We were allowed to hunt on this farm, so I really was hunting.
Ko ng chao ko ay basta. Chao ko kung sa chao kai cha ai chao ko si ko tiro ko kam ai to sa chao ko. Asa ko. Esta best ko. Chao al hi bi ma ai ma kwa. Past interest.
What is that? Art. Okay. For example, that animal, some men or some young men will dig and dig for me, like 6 to 7 holes before they find him or he find them. But for me, I have my own secrets and how I get you closer and kill him. Just maybe 1 or 2 holes, and then I kill him.
So it's good like that.
Yeah.
So is there any story your father can tell us about the Naro? Like a folk tale, like a bedtime story, or a story the men used to say to each other? Like we would sit around fires and tell stories, anything like that. A short one, not long.
Story, yeah, story.
Why?
One.
Yang bukan kita kan wajah na. Eso sa tabu karang ko kalmay na kay ko sa hamas iska. Kumnas kata tata kata sinas ka ata orlam kay ja kay si kata ka ko kuru ju kuji to china ko trek la pur ba hina ka titar ko to china to ji na kom china kata.
I'm just going back to the question where we were talking about our values and culture, in where I mentioned how when a woman a young girl turns into womanhood, the ceremony that we hold for her. Now these days, since you see, like we are more modern, we wear clothes and stuff. We also use modern music instruments to celebrate this event. So I was just answering them. What was the answer before? Like, sorry. What was the answer?
Does your father recall any of the stories?
It was about the stories. Yeah. He mentioned that there are different stories, bedtime stories, and stories told by elders, like jokeful stories, educational stories. Now we have different stories that we tell.
Does he know anyone he can tell us a short one?
Story wasn't one
about elephants, maybe.
Facebook.
Thank you. I tell us Wamata.
Ko peba thomko ama ti karai thote ka sa jimaji na karsi ku kamai maji kamsa har kama chite kam ama mate jiga mahi. Asiko, itam kam ko thobo ta kring ko tero thom ko a akachar na jar be ma uti mai tin thoche na si kur kam tin.
Once upon a time, a younger person came to Oryx and asked his horns to borrow him his 2 horns.
Bi eba ko akhabam ko eba akachar ko gama ji ko si kur kam tin ma.
And then the Oryx gave his horns to the younger person. I don't know.
Bi si akat ngoji ama bi si ak bi thom di ma ji si ama hai tanga kam kam chuba kam kam tanga kam kam tam tam ko thochi eba ko ma te tin.
And then the Oryx took younger boy's horns and ran with them, set them up and ran with them.
Kachar has to go achar ta si kaya char ko mu che chong ko si bi ji na tum ka.
That's why today we see younger person Oryx. Whenever they came together, it's fire. They are fighting because Oryx ran away with a younger brother's horns. That's a Naro story, one of the old Naro stories that we know.
Any more questions?
Yes, it's another question touching on herbal medicine. Are there any conservation strategies that the Naro employ regarding medicinal plants conservation? I know earlier you did mention that herbal medicine is not accessible to go out and harvest anymore, as it was, when Chief Dabe was younger. But that same question, the same person also asked, and are the Naro youth still interested in learning the old ways of medicinal plants and healing methods of the sun?
As a youth, as a Naro youth, I will answer the question. I will take the question. Yeah, the youth like us that are still interested, that are really interested in learning the old ways of our people, especially the medicine and the language. They are youth, but then you also find those other youth that because of interaction with other tribes and other people, they have lack of interest in their culture.
Okay, next question.
Okay, those are all the questions that we have for today.
Okay, well, thank you for the session, Chief Dabe, and thank you to the hosts that really took care of the online side. The power really lasted in this darkness, but everybody out there, thank you very much for spending time and learning a little bit more about the Naro. They're beautiful people, that's all I can say. And one group of people that I honestly can say needs to be known and visited. To come to Hababas is an easy journey. A bus ticket from South Africa is, you Google it right now with Intercape, it's a good price. But at the moment we are busy doing some how can I say, arrangements for through Oslo, the chief organization will be also hosting a lot of projects where people they can visit him and his organization, as well as Appolia's organization called Teemaasee. And it's about traveling and experiencing who the people are. Hababas is not just Naro. There's many other cultures here. So it's a diverse setup where people can come learn about being around people we don't normally meet, which is hear about people. So thank you everybody for coming, and we hope our next session will be in the light and be more fun. Is there any other more questions from anybody before we close off?
Yes, Q, we do have a question from Cyril, and he said greetings to the elder chief. As an elder, how does he think the descendants of Nama and San that are located in South Africa, who came over the river during the war, for example, how do we begin to form healthy relationships with the Nama and San, the Naro in Namibia?
Well, I'll answer that. Thank you, brother, for such a question. Well, you know, I've done this now for a while. Many of my friends, people who personally know me, understands that I've been on a journey to learn how to bring these two distant relatives closer to each other. And on this journey, I've realized that it's something where I should invite people not to join me, but to take trips and travel and learn to know your countrymen. There is so much in our country that we don't really, we only hear about or check on the internet, but it costs you nothing to go and learn somebody's culture by visiting them. You know, there are many people that would like to meet the South Africans. I'm getting asked questions about South Africa all the time. You know, socially, who we are as a people, how do we see ourselves as San, and what makes us not unique, but same as them. And you know, unfortunately, that's trauma. But the good side of it all is that, you know, there is no invitation. There is a journey. You know, you partake this and you travel and you meet these people. It's, you know, the world is bigger than your neighborhood or your handheld phone. You know, the world is way bigger than that. But the world is more exciting when you put these things down and you actually go out there and then go and experience life. So for me, those of us who are privileged in South Africa, it's an open invitation. You know, these lands up here, well, you know, not everybody can afford to travel, but it's a good visit to travel them. You know, Namibia, look at the Nama, look at the San, and many of Namibia's beautiful tribes. The thing is, will our journeys to each other take from each other or embrace each other and create a unification that we really deserve in Southern Africa? Out of the entire Africa, I know we have wars, we have amazing things happening. I mean, people, I always tell people, I don't need to travel Africa, I go to Joburg. You know, I hear every language, I taste every type of food of Africa. And I think if we cannot travel abroad to other places, you know, we should use our technology for good and travel that way, you know, learn to know about these people, contact. Chief Dabe is on Facebook. Appolia Dabe is on Facebook and on Instagram. Teemaasee is on Facebook and Instagram. You know, IYX Africa, our websites, you know, journey into our online assets. And if you can't journey, as a photographer, before I stopped taking photos, I learned a quote online. You know, it was photography helps people to see, you know, like people ain't here. So whenever I take now a photo, I'm not taking it as a photographer anymore. I'm helping somebody to see something. You understand? So if you can't make it a year, go onto these people's Facebook, look at their lives. It's not just that YouTube video of a bushman in skin running, you know, it's not like that. There's a culture trying to survive and become not modern, but accept the way of life that they have to live with now. Many of them, the Dharma, also the Nama, their way of life that used to be in the past is no more there. So you can't also expect to come from South Africa and come get some Bushman or some Nama running in skins all the time. No, that's a picture we painted wrong. There are people here with dreams, beautiful dreams, ambitions in life. You know, they want to become something in life. So how do we block all that and just journey and visit each other? That is the most important thing right now. I can honestly say is deserving of the distant relatives to bring them closer to each other. So from me and what my journeys has given me, not what my education has given me, but what my journeys has given me is advice to you all, you know, break the fear and just learn to know each other, travel. I'm here. But a hardship, yes, things are hard, but it is an amazing experience that I now am living here amongst the Naro and experiencing their way of life. Is nothing different to the poverty you see in South Africa. It's nothing different to the girl and boy in love walking down the street holding hands. There's a lot we still share because of becoming modern. And, I know we're all decolonizing ourselves, but, there's a state where you have to look at what it has also given us. It's given us the ability to break borders and reach out to each other and say, I am there. So that would be my take on that to everybody in South Africa, all around the world. There's more than one way to reach out and find out who's who. Thank you, Rob.
So powerful. Thank you, Q. Thank you, Chief Dabe, and thank you, Appolia, for such a powerful meeting.
Ayo.
Thank you, and welcome everyone.
And next time we're gonna be in the light. Next time we'll be in the light, yeah.
Yes.
Ayaw.
Ayaw.
Thank you means it.
Ayaw.
Good night, everybody. Until next time.
Ah.
Good night.